Hello my lovelies. Do you need to know what to do on results day? It's a really anxious time. If you do, follow along. This is exactly the video for you. So let's crack on. My name is Sarah Jane Critchie. I'm the author of A Different Joy, the Parent's Guide to Living Better with Autism, Dyslexia, ADHD and more. And what I want to talk to you about today is how to cope with results day. There's a number of different things that we need to do. The first thing is to prepare in advance. You need to think through what the implications will be of success or otherwise at those particular exams, and what do you do? So the first thing is to research your options. Think about what you might need to do in response to the result that's been got, because we need to think about what the other options are that you might want to go for, what really plays to your young person's strengths, and what they might want to do if their first plan doesn't come to fruition. There are lots and lots of different ways to success. There is no one path, and everyone has to walk their own version. So just work out what it is for them that might make the difference, what it is that are their options and what will make them come alive. And there's more than one way of doing that. So research the options in advance. You can't rely on your young person to do that. They may not have the resources to do so. So the second thing is to explore the alternatives. If they want to do one particular thing, if they've got their heart set on going to university and doing a particular course, if that doesn't pan out, what are the alternatives? What are the options? What other things could they do? What have successful people who have not gone down that particular route done in order to get where they are? So for example, my lovely girl wants to be a writer. She's a fantastic writer. That's what she'd like to do. At the moment she's talking about going to university. That may not pan out. That may pan out. It may be a perfect thing for her. It may not. But there is no thing that says that you have to go that way in order to be a writer. Loads of successful writers have been nowhere near a university in their life. So it's about thinking about what those alternatives may be. There are apprenticeships for a number of different routes. I've been talking a lot with the Department for Education about T-levels, and those are a different way to have a career. They're an alternative to A-levels, they're an alternative to that particular type of education. So there is no one path to success. So explore those alternatives with your young person, prepare them for the thought that maybe their first choice might not happen. Even if somebody says it would be perfect for them, I could absolutely see you there, it would be wonderful. Sometimes life doesn't work out that way, and we have to prepare ourselves for things not going according to plan. Good to have a plan, even better to have alternatives. So the third thing is to make sure you have a sense of perspective. And as the adult in the relationship, or the grown-up yourself, you need to think about other people who have done well, other ways to achieve that. Any single result is a tiny, tiny speck in the period of a whole lifetime. It means so little when you look back on it. I've done loads of exams. I've got a master's degree. Every single exam that you do, every qualification you do, nobody ever looks at the ones back in the past. Nobody is interested now in what GCSEs I did and didn't get and what grades I got in them. No one's interested in my A-levels. Very few people are interested in my degree. In fact, now nobody's interested in my master's. So, you know, from a lifetime perspective, it doesn't matter. It is not the be-all and end-all. It is not a crisis, even if it feels so on the day, and it may well. So, what do you do on the day itself, on results day? The first thing is you must be ready to act. You must know what actions you need to take in order to succeed at the next step. So there are always specific processes that you will have to follow depending on what you want to do next. The first thing to be aware of is be aware of your dates. You must know your dates in order to know when you need to be around and when you need to prepare for whether things may or may not go according to plan, or just relax and enjoy if everything you've ever imagined has come to fruition. So that's the first thing. International Baccalaureate Results Day is Thursday the 5th of July. SQA's results come out on Tuesday the 7th of August. A-levels on Thursday the 16th. GCSEs and IGCSEs on Thursday the 23rd of August. And if you've got younger ones, Key Stage 2 SATS results are sent to schools on Tuesday the 10th of July. Now, in our house, we're lucky enough to have one doing GCSEs right now and one doing A-levels right now. So that is a whole ball of joy right now. So everyone can get a bit tense and we're planning nice things to do, but we have to work out what happens when we go and open that envelope. What happens next and what do we need to do? Now, one of the things we specifically did and explored alternatives, because the whole results thing and the stress of that day is too much for my girl, we've arranged for her to do something different next year and to possibly apply with her results intact. So this will not be as stressful for her as it would be if she was suddenly going to be going to university somewhere far away in September. That would be too much of a change for her, and to pace those changes is okay. That is fine. It's perfectly okay to go later or not at all or do something totally different. That's all fine. There is no one path, but there is an assumption if you're doing a certain sort of exams or qualifications that you may follow the standard track. Well, the standard track doesn't suit non-standard people, and we have lovely non-standard people or we wouldn't be here. So you've got to be ready to act. A friend of mine, a lovely friend of mine, had a bit of a crisis. One of her children had a complete meltdown in one of the qualifications and suddenly had to move from one setting to another at the drop of a hat. She suddenly had to take time off and then rush around all of the alternatives in the area. That was incredibly stressful. If you know what your alternatives are in advance and you've planned your fallback position, then it's much, much easier and you're ready to act. And please, please, please try not to be on holiday on that day. Try not to be out of the country. It makes life very stressful if that's the case, because it's harder to get those results when you're somewhere else. You're not ready to act. The next thing, our youth council, the youth council, a group of young people that we've worked for, emphasise how important it is to have these results in private. The emotions that lots of young people have when they're all gathered together, whether they're really joyful or really sad, makes it incredibly difficult for our young people who struggle with their own emotional regulation to cope. That is too much for them to take on board at one time. So it's actually really important for them to have a quiet time to open it and get used to the idea of whatever it is they're receiving in private. And then, if they feel ready and they want to, they can go out and talk to their friends about it, or they can do that online, or they can just go home and celebrate on their own if that's what they want, or just sit there and work out what to do next if that's what they need to do. So it's really important. You may have to negotiate that with your school. I know certainly some schools have a plan where if you want to go into the sixth form, they want you to open your results right there and then go straight into a meeting to discuss what subjects you'll be taking. Well, that's fine and dandy if everything has planned out the way you wanted it to and you've got every result you ever wanted and it's exactly on course. But if it isn't, then it makes life a bit difficult. So do it in private. The last and final thing, if all else goes wrong, one of the most important things we must do is prepare our young people for things not happening the way we want. The best thing I've ever come across is we have an idea, we have a concept of what we want to do, and then if it all goes wrong, we just yell, "Plot twist!" and everything goes in a different direction. It's fine. Plot twists happen all the time. Think of their favourite movie, describe how that plays out, how it doesn't work the way that the lead character imagined. If they love anime, there's loads of examples where anime characters struggle with something and it doesn't work the way they plan and then something else happens. It's just a plot twist. In the period of a whole life, it's a tiny bump on life's highway. So, if possible, make a joke out of it, make it fun, as much as you possibly can without disrespecting the emotions that they will have. You have to give them time and space to experience those and then pick up and deal with it, because that's our job. Anyway, I hope that's helped you. Leave me a comment below. I will also leave some links in the comments to really helpful pages from UCAS and from the student room, and for GCSEs and what to do next, and the process for SATs. So have a look in the description below if you want. I hope that's helped you. Lots of love to you. Speak to you soon. Take care. Bye.